Paris is the capital and most populous city of France, situated on the Seine River, in the north of the country. Paris was founded in the 3rd century by a Celtic people called the Elyses, who gave the city its name. The city of Paris is the most populous urban area in the European Union with population of 2.2 million people. In 2013, Paris received 29.3 million visitors, making it one of the world's top tourist destinations. Paris is the home of the most visited art museums in the world. The notable architectural landmarks of Paris include the Notre-Dame Cathedral, the Eiffel Tower and the Basilica of Sacré-Cœur. The Eiffel Tower is an iron latticed tower located on the Champ de Mars. It was named after the engineer Alexander Gustave Eiffel, whose company designed and built the tower, erected in 1889 as the entrance arch to the World's Fair. It was initially criticized by some of France's leading artists and intellectuals for its design, but has become both a global cultural icon of France and one of the most recognizable structures in the world. The tower is the tallest structure in Paris and the most visited paid monument in the world. The tower is 324 meters tall, about the same height as an 81-story building. Gustave Eiffel engraved on the tower 72 names of French scientists, engineers, and mathematicians in recognition of their contributions. Eiffel chose this invocation of science because of his concern over the artists' protests against the tower. Designer Gustave Eiffel built himself a small apartment near the top of the Eiffel Tower, for quiet reflection and to entertain significant guests. By the 12th century, Paris was the largest city in the Western world, a prosperous trading center, and the home of the University of Paris, one of the first in Europe. In the 18th century, it was the center stage for the French Revolution, and became an important center of finance, commerce, fashion, science, and the arts. The Arch of Triumph of the Star is one of the most famous monuments in Paris. It stands in the center of the place Charles de Gaulle at the western end of the Champs-Elyses. The triumphal arch honors those who fought and died for France in the French Revolutionary and the Napoleonic Wars, with the names of all French victories and generals inscribed on its inner and outer surfaces. Beneath its vault lies the tomb of the unknown soldier from World War I. The monument stands 50 meters in height, 45 meters wide and 22 meters deep. Its design was inspired by the Roman Arch of Titus. The Avenue Champs-Elysees is a boulevard, 1.9 kilometers long and 70 meters wide, which runs between the Concord Square and the place Charles de Gaulle, where the Arc of Triumph is located. It is famous for its theaters, cafes and luxury shops, and for the military parade that takes place each year on the avenue on the 14th of July to celebrate Bastille Day. The Concord Square is one of the major public squares in Paris, measuring 8.64 hectares in area. It is the largest square in the French capital. The center of the square is occupied by a giant Egyptian obelisk decorated with hieroglyphics exalting the reign of the pharaoh Ramesses II. It is one of two the Egyptian government gave to the French in the 19th century. The obelisk, a yellow granite column, rises 23 meters high, including the base, and weighs over 250 metric tons. The obelisk is flanked on both sides by fountains constructed at the time of its erection on the place. During the French Revolution, the statue of Louis XV of France was torn down in the area renamed Revolution Square. The new revolutionary government erected the guillotine in the square, and it was here that King Louis XVI, Marie Antoinette, were executed in 1793. The Tuileries Garden is a public garden located between the Louvre Museum and the Concord Square, created by Catherine de Medicis in 1564. It was eventually opened to the public in 1667, and became a public park after the French Revolution. The Louvre Museum is one of the world's largest museums and a historic monument. Nearly 35,000 objects from prehistory to the 21st century are exhibited, over an area of 60,000 square meters. The museum is housed in the Louvre Palace, originally built as a fortress in the late 12th century under Philip II. The museum opened in 1793 with an exhibition of 537 paintings, the majority of the works being royal and confiscated church property. By 1874, the Louvre Palace had achieved its present form of an almost rectangular structure. A glass pyramid to stand over a new entrance and the main court was builded in 1989. Notre-Dame Cathedral is a historic Catholic cathedral. The cathedral is widely considered to be one of the finest examples of French Gothic architecture, and it is among the largest and most well-known church buildings in the world. The naturalism of its sculptures and stained glass are in contrast with earlier Romanesque architecture. Notre-Dame de Paris was among the first buildings in the world to use the flying buttress. Many small individually crafted statues were placed around the outside to serve as column supports and water spouts. Among these are the famous gargoyles, designed for water runoff, and chimeras. The cathedral was essentially completed by 1345. The cathedral has a narrow climb of 387 steps at the top of several spiral staircases. Along the climb it is possible to view its most famous bell and its gargoyles in close quarters, as well as having a spectacular view across Paris.